Feminism has become something of a tabooed word, and people are being afraid to be associated with it due to it having negative connotations. We want to be able to understand how young adults have been affected by it, what it means to be a feminist, and more importantly, if it's actually still needed. We also want to look into different issues involving feminism and what people are doing to positively impact our society.
When I hear the word feminism, I automatically think about gender inequalities and how men are always deemed higher than women in so many different situations. So like in terms of working, men are always paid more.
It's like an excuse for women to want to be different towards men, because as times move forward, things have become more equal.
I think about equality, rights for gender, and making sure everyone's equal.
When I hear the word feminism, I think, gender.
Just like women campaigning for equal rights, things like equal pay. Think of like the suffragettes, stuff like that, really.
I think everyone's raised in equality nowadays, especially in England. Well, I don't know, there's some inequality.
I think there are negative views on feminism due to the media often exaggerating and exploiting like the hardcore feminists.
I think that women have had a lot of equal rights, and like there were quite a lot of there was a new law brought in sort of 2010, the Equal Rights Act. Women are on a par with men now.
Because you've got like women that are really extreme about it and think it's about hating men, when obviously that's not the point of it. It's more about equality.
I have no idea what the suffragettes are at all.
Say again?
What is the suffragettes?
Say again?
Suffragettes.
Suffragettes.
The suffragettes were a movement of women in 1901. Emmeline Pankhurst, I think, was one of them, that was killed by the horse. She threw herself under one of the racetracks. Can't really remember exactly.
I don't know. I actually don't know. They're like a group, one of the first like feminist groups. Was it back in like the 50s that they formed or something like that?
The artist suffrage over 3,000 women. 1907, women wear a limited different July 19th down for action policy done with the first hunger strike was released after 91 hours of fasting.
It wasn't until 1928 that all women over 21 got the vote. Initially, women were owned as property by their husbands. It was normal for women to be beaten by their husbands, as well as illegal to be raped by them. Once married, everything the women owned now belonged to their husbands. Women also had no custody of their children. With such an incomprehensible injustice and social slavery, there is no wonder women finally decided to fight back. The suffragettes were members of a women's organisation in the late 19th and early 20th century, where women campaigned for their civil rights, including their ability to vote. Although initially a peaceful protest founded by Millicent Fawcett in 1897, little progress was made, which left many women angry. In 1903, Emmeline Pankhurst founded the suffragettes. Members of the suffragettes were prepared to use violence to get what they wanted. They burned down churches as the Church of England was against women's rights. They vandalised Oxford Street by smashing windows. They also chained themselves to Buckingham Palace as the royal family was seen to be against women having the right to vote. Politicians were attacked and their homes were firebombed. While the suffragettes were in prison, they staged hunger strikes. This caused an issue to the government as it gave the suffragettes political status. The prisons began the practice of force-feeding these women through a tube, most commonly a nostril or stomach tube. The process was strenuous. Without the consent of the hunger strikers, they were typically strapped down and force-fed with a considerable amount of force. In June 1913, Emily Davison threw herself under the King's Horse at Epsom Racecourse. She was killed and the suffragettes had their first martyr. This event played a major part in the movement, and it signified the desperation of these women and showed how far they were prepared to go in order to obtain their civil rights, something which we now take for granted. In order to get a better understanding on what feminism is about, we got in contact with the Feminist Society at Winchester University.
My name is Elliot Page and I'm a member of Feminism, ACAS and the Spectrum Society.
I'm Will Roberts and I'm part of the Feminist Society.
My name is Rui and I participate in the Feminism Society on campus.
My name is Jan and I'm in the Feminist Society and in the Clarinet group.
Being a feminist to me is acknowledging that I am not, in my current state of self, supported or benefiting from the way society is structured. Being a feminist is an acknowledgement that I'm different. It's an acknowledgement that femininity and women are disadvantaged more than men, but also that men are disadvantaged, particularly if they don't fit what would be considered the masculine enterprise.
Feminism is the seeking of the equality agendas and the belief that, and the profound belief that everyone should be equal.
Being a feminist is a form of solidarity with other people who are like me, with other women, with non-binary individuals, everyone who suffers from marginalisation due to their gender identity.
It's the liberty to be of any gender you choose without having to conform to any boxes where you have to fit in, really.
I think there are a lot because people mistake it with misandry, which is man-hating, which is not what feminism is about. Feminism is about seeking the equality of genders. So there are a lot of misconceptions about feminism which everyone seems to focus on, hence the rise of the movement Feminism, which is basically misogyny by another name.
At its core, feminism threatens patriarchy, and so anything that is not going to benefit the status quo or those who benefit from the status quo is going to be challenged and ridiculed and made to seem like it's not a very valid pursuit.
The thing about feminism is that it's a multidimensional movement. There are opposing ideologies, there are conflicting arguments, not everyone is going to align with each other. But at the end of the day, the end goal is to experience that solidarity, and the common misconceptions to do with feminism is the policing of anger and passion and issuing that as a form of emotional instability and claiming, well, because you're upset with what's happening to you, you're not in the right mind to speak out about it. And in that, a lot of people who do experience gender-based oppression are silenced.
Do I believe that women are paid less than men? Yes, I do believe that women are paid less than men, but I think there's a lot of other complicated questions that need to be asked about equal pay. One is, should women actually be paid more than men? In the current status of patriarchy, a variety of institutions, including politics, the banking, big business, anything that's kind of a capitalist enterprise, tends to be set up in a way that although women can partake in the system, they are often treated unfairly or differently. And if capitalism is a meritocracy, if people are basically being paid to do the work that they do, or the effort that they put into the work, then women, in my opinion, should be paid considerably more under the current system.
Yes, women are paid less than men. It's a fact in most countries.
I think women are being sexually objectified every day, everywhere, all the time.
Yes, I think women have always been sexually objectified. I think women will probably always be sexually objectified, at least in the minds of people, because you can't police minds, and we currently don't have a society that challenges the sexual objectification of women.
I definitely do believe women are still being sexually objectified. You only need to look at advertisements, you only need to see the way in which women are perceived in film, out in the media, the way that women are treated in the media, the way, hell, me walking down the street and someone saying something about a component of my body, I am a whole, I am not parts.
As feminism has become more prominent in the media, celebrities themselves have started to have their own input in this movement, eager to help achieve equality.
It is the theory of the political, economic, and social equality of the sexes. I started questioning gender-based assumptions a long time ago. When I was 8, I was confused being called bossy, because I wanted to direct the plays that we would put on for our parents, but the boys were not. When at 14, I started to be sexualized by certain elements of the media. When at 15, my girlfriends started dropping out of their beloved sports teams because they didn't want to appear muscly. When at 18, my male friends were unable to express their feelings.
Feminism is so diverse that it's impossible for everyone to have the same opinion. Our society is forever changing, whether we be accepting of it or not. The word originated for women, but that doesn't mean to say that it's exclusive on the rights for one gender. Whether you're willing to want to use the word feminism or call yourself a feminist, the word is meant to stand for equal opportunities for both men and women. It is obvious that there are a multitude of issues to be addressed within this movement, some more prominent than others, but as long as its message of equality is understood, then positive changes can continue to impact our society.